Janet Lim Napoles, the alleged mastermind behind the pork barrel scam, is found guilty of 8 charges of graft and malversation. In a decision from the Special Second Division of the Anti-Graft Court, Napoles was proven to have violated Republic Act 3019 or the Anti-Graft and Practices Act. Former National Agribusiness Corporation officials Teodoro Mendoza, Victor Cacal, and Maria Nines Guanizo were also found guilty of graft and malversation charges. Napoles and co-accused Evelyn De Leon of the Philippine Social Development Foundation, Inc. were found guilty of malversation of public funds under Article 217 of the Revised Penal Code. Collectively, the charges translate to 64 years of imprisonment at the minimum and 82 years at most. Sandigan Bayan also ordered Napoles to pay the government 41 million pesos in damages. Each malversation charge requires Napoles to pay the equivalent amount of money involved in the criminal offense. Meanwhile, former South Cotabato Representative Arthur Pingoy Jr. was acquitted of graft and malversation charges in the same court decision. The State Weather Bureau announces the onset of the northeast monsoon or amihan in the country. According to Pagasa, strong northeasterly winds as well as the gradual cooling of the surface air temperature were observed in northern Luzon, which indicates that the northeast monsoon winds have begun to blow. The agency adds that the amihan wind is expected to strengthen in the following days, which will bring cold and dry air to the country. Pag-asa likewise says there will be increased chances of reduced rainfall and dry conditions, as there is still an ongoing El Niño phenomenon which may cause dry spells and droughts. Malacanang says the Philippines and Saudi Arabia signed investment agreements worth $4.2 billion. President Bongbong Marcos is in Saudi Arabia for the Association of Southeast Asian Nations Gulf Cooperation Council. According to the palace, Marcos announced agreements worth $120 million between business leaders of the two countries.
With an estimated value of over $120 million, the agreements that will be signed today are set to benefit more than 15,000 Filipinos in training and employment opportunities across a wide range of professions in the construction industry.
Citing the Department of Trade and Industry, the palace says a human resource services agreement worth $3.7 billion was signed between Algier Human Resources Company ACRO and the Association of Philippine Licensed Agencies for the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Malacanang also says that 2 human resource services agreements worth $191 million each were signed with the Philippines Staff House International Resources Corporation and EGMP International Corporation. Defense Secretary Teodoro has ordered Department of National Defense employees to avoid using artificial intelligence-powered apps that create enhanced portraits, citing concerns on identity theft. The memorandum signed by Teodoro states that DND and AFP personnel are directed to refrain from using AI photo generator applications and practice vigilance in sharing information online. The Defense Secretary warns these AI apps pose significant privacy and security risks. He adds that it can be used to create fake profiles that can lead to identity theft, social engineering, phishing attacks, and other malicious activities. The memorandum dated October 14 was furnished to the media on Friday, October 20. Armed Forces of the Philippines Public Affairs Office Chief, Lieutenant Colonel Enrico Gil Ileto, confirms that the armed forces received the memo on Thursday. Supposed whistleblower Jeffrey Tombado reaffirms his previously recanted corruption allegations against suspended Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board Chair Teofilo Guadiz III. In a statement on Friday, Tombado says he stands by what he earlier expressed in a press conference that there are many personalities and officials involved in corruption in LTFRB. Tombado was referring to a press conference he appeared in on October 9, where he had exposed corruption within LTFRB involving route modifications, prioritization of franchise papers, and special permits. In his exposé, Tombado claimed he and Guadiz first started having discussions on how they could benefit from the Lagayan scheme as early as March. He then recanted these allegations just a few days later. Just recently on Thursday, October 19, in a sworn statement before National Bureau of Investigation, he had stood by his withdrawal of allegations against Guadiz. In his statement on Friday, Tumbado also reiterates that Guadiz himself contacted him days after he revealed the corrupt practices within the LTFRB. According to Tumbado, Guadiz begged him to restore his reputation and career. Tumbado bears he recanted his allegations after he was pressured by different people, including his own family and supporters of Guadiz. Despite being told he was wrong for speaking up, the former LTFRB executive assistant then asks who else would dare expose these problems in the agency. He then resolves that he will face Congress in an investigation. Airline passengers will have to pay more for their tickets next month after the Civil Aeronautics Board approved a higher fuel surcharge. Fuel surcharges are additional fees by airlines to help them recover fuel costs. These are separate from the base fare, which is the actual amount paid by the passenger for their seat. In its advisory, the regulator announces that it raised the fuel surcharge to level 7 for November from the current level 6. For level 7, passengers will pay a fuel surcharge of 219 pesos to 739 pesos for domestic flights, and 722 pesos and 71 centavos to 5,373 pesos and 69 centavos for international flights. These rates are higher compared to level 6 pricing, with 185 pesos to 665 pesos of fuel surcharges for passengers flying locally, and 610 pesos and 37 centavos to 4,538 pesos and 40 centavos for those boarding international flights. Airlines have been gearing up for the increasing passenger movement by beefing up their flight capacities for both local and international destinations.
Tawa lang ng tawang kapamilya actor at TV host na si Piolo Pascual nang tanungin namin siya tungkol sa chikang nabuntis daw niya si Shaina Magdayaw. Kumalat kasi ang balita na pregnant umano ang actress ngayon at ang itinuturong tatay ay walang iba kundi ang ultimate leading man na si Papa P. Kahapon sa press ko ng award-winning actor para sa concert niyang An Ultimate Night with Piolo, sinagot ng aktor ang nakakalokang chika patungkol sa kanila ni Shaina. Diretsahang tinanong ang aktor kung ano nga ba ang reaksyon niya nang biglang mapabalitang nabuntis daw niya si Shaina. Natatawang sagot naman ni Papa P, sinisikreto raw talaga nila ang pagbubuntis ng aktres. Ngunit sa kabila ng pagbibiro nito at pagsakay sa issue, ay inamin naman niyang espesyal pa rin sa puso niya si Shaina, pero ayaw muna niyang lagyan ng label ang kanilang relasyon. Kwento pa niya, malapit ito sa kanyang pamilya at palaging present si Shaina sa tuwing may mga selebrasyon sila. Sa ngayon ay talagang abala si Piolo sa kanyang mga trabaho at wala itong oras na pumasok sa isang relationship. Ayaw naman niyang maging unfair sa magiging karelasyon kung sakali. Samantala, nauna na ring itinanggi ni Shaina ang chika ukol sa kanyang di umano'y pagbubuntis. Ito po si Teres Arceo at yan ang Bandera Chika for today.